As enterprise organizations continue to transform and become digital businesses, what are the key areas on which they should focus to enable growth and the ability of the enterprise to compete and thrive?
I think the two sides are technology and resources. So the technological side of scaling is something very well understood, very well investigated. People invest a lot in, making sure they're not putting themselves in a corner from which they can't come out, making sure that things go horizontally instead of vertically, and so on. But in terms of resourcing, it's actually the bigger challenge I see. You have teams with the knowledge of how things work. Adding to those teams is itself very difficult because people end up so focused on what they have to achieve that actually ramping new resources in becomes very difficult. And it's very common for the documentation around products and processes and code bases and so on to not support that sharing of learning that needs to happen for places to grow. Particularly as you'll often end up with people who are real domain experts in a technological space actually having a different trajectory in their company. They may end up doing something else entirely and they won't be on hand. So it's really thinking of the whole life cycle of people joining a team and allowing that to be as productive as possible. The worst case ever is when you have people leaving, which also happens, and people desperately trying to capture their knowledge set in the last 3 or 4 weeks of their employment, because that goes nowhere. Documentation is absolutely key to growth.
Thank you. Great insights.